Welcome back to Digi Bros, everybody.
What's up, guys?
Vito was just telling me about some movies he watched.
Yeah, I'll start off with the good one. There's a documentary on Netflix called Autism in Love, which I thought was really interesting, actually, because it follows sort of 4 autistic people, and it's one guy who's kind of like he's mid-20s. He's sort of, you know, like he's not super autistic. He seems like he could probably like. You wouldn't really be able to tell unless he kind of brought it up, or like you just kind of think he was a kind of a stupid dude, because he is a really stupid dude beyond being autistic, but you just think he was a stupid dude. And then there's another one that's a couple, and both of them are autistic, and they're sort of like more mildly, like you definitely be able to tell talking to them that they're autistic, but they're also very self-aware. And it's really interesting seeing their dynamic of having this romance where both of them are autistic, and they're not really good at interpreting each other's emotions and things. And that was really, and they had like an 8-year relationship, and then the guy proposes to the girl during the movie, and it was really pretty cool to watch them grow. And then there's a last guy who's like really like severely autistic, to the point where he's not even really self-aware of himself and like how he acts, but he had been married to a girl who had another learning disability. I don't know if it was autism, they didn't really specify it, but she had a learning disability. And
wow, you just got
I'm trying to tell this thing and it's hard to focus on it, but she had a learning disability, and then eventually she got cancer at the time of this movie.
Since you're telling the story?
I'll be worse at telling the story if I stop playing the game. It actually helps me talk to me playing the game most of the time. Anyways, she gets cancer and she dies over the course of this film, and it's crazy because she dies, and then like the guy has a very hard time of explaining like that he is in love with her, and like and how he feels about it, but like you can tell that he's really in love with his wife, and then she dies, and the guy
What the hell are you at this bonfire?
That's true. The filmmaker asks like, "Do you still love her?" And he goes like, "No, she's dead. You can't love something that's dead. She's dead, so I don't love her anymore." It's just like super sad, but like he has such a hard time comprehending like death and
pay attention to something you're doing while you do this.
But it's really, I encourage you to watch it. But the thing I wanted to talk about the most is the guy who was sort of the least autistic was in the worst situation, because like the couple that they follow was like they're both like scientists, like they're really well off, they're super smart, you know. The woman is like, she's an artist and a masterful pianist. The guy's like a meteorologist and stuff. They have good lives despite being autistic.
Pay attention to this menu.
All right, where am I going?
Go to the dumb fuck no. Yes, that one.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Anyways, both doing very well for themselves. Whereas this other guy is like, he's got a really bad, like, he feels like less of a person because he's autistic, and like it affects him in every way of his life, where he's constantly paranoid. He thinks everyone's judging him. He thinks everyone's looking down on him, and he's like he didn't get into college, and he's been sitting around doing nothing for years, and like he has this whole complex about like he wants a girlfriend, but because he learned from listening to girls on YouTube that girls are only interested in guys who like have their shit together and have jobs and make more money than them, that he has to have a well-paying job if he wants to get a girlfriend. And he's obsessed with the idea that he can't be with a girl unless she's lower than him, because he can never be with a girl who's higher than him. And he's like, he has this whole social hierarchy mapped out in his mind that doesn't exist. Like it's, you know, it's like this high school hierarchy, and he doesn't realize like how the world actually is, and he refuses to like to even try to go out with any girl. Then he also like his mom says something about like, oh, why don't you find a girl who's in like the comic book things and the conventions you go to, and he's just kind of like, no, like he would never do that, because he doesn't want to be associated. He doesn't want to seem like a lesser person because of the things he's into, and he can't accept himself, and he can't accept the fact that he can't accept himself, and he just destroys himself. And it was interesting because it's like the thing destroying this guy's life is not autism. It's his personality, like, complexes, and the fact that he's so down on himself because he's ashamed of what he is. when, you know, these other guys are having a perfectly fulfilling life and getting married and having a great time because they accept what they are, you know? And this guy is just shitting on himself, and like at some point he goes on suicide watch, and by the end he's still like, he finally gets a job at like, you know, Food Lion as a bag boy, and he's like so, like, he has this new purpose, and he's so motivated because he's actually doing something, but it's like...
You can take your hands off the controller and... What did you think was gonna happen? You backed away. You didn't heal. You didn't roll. You didn't do anything. I'm like, I don't care about the story. Play the game.
I was trying to dodge around the dude's thing, and I got in. Okay.
Oh, jeez.
I was aware of what I was doing. I just didn't execute it very well.
No, you didn't heal though. You could have healed. It wouldn't have even killed you when he hit you.
Anyways.
You took your hand off the controller when you should have been healing.
I thought it was interesting. I need to use my hands to mannerism. Whatever.
It's a podcast. No one can see your hand.
It helps.
I'm not looking at your hands.
Motherfucker, you don't gesture with your hands so that people understand things. You gesture because it helps you process your own thoughts. That's the point of hand gestures.
It's a let's play, though. Processing your thoughts is secondary.
What? It's if I have to actually, you know, finish my sentence.
Why do you think I sound so stupid on Dark Souls 2? Like, I have to talk real slow and, like, process every thought.
You do sound like an idiot, yes. And clearly, you're less intelligent on Dark Souls 2 because you're not functioning properly.
Anyway. Is there anything else you want to say about?
You get the point. The guy's putting himself down. I don't know if you have anything to say about that. We've talked about stuff like that before. It was kind of sad. And this is like, this dude will never learn. Like, people try to explain to him, but he'll never learn. I'm like, man, if he could just realize, you know.
I know some autistic guys like that.
It's just like, dude, you just gotta, you know, if this guy just went to a convention and found another fucking spurgy girl, he'd be perfectly happy. There's someone on his level he could find, you know?
Yeah.
But he refused, and he also had a thing for black girls. And he was like, I really like black girls, but they only like guys with money, and so I have to have money if I want to date a black girl. It's like, dude,
just his ideas of social
way too picky. Yes, he's ridiculous. The guy was pretty ridiculous, and it makes you kind of hate him when he's talking, and you're just like, oh my god, you're so misguided.
I know people like that.
And the fact that he, you know, he learns all these things from like the internet, and he's probably listening to the wrong people.
Yeah. I definitely know some people who have like weird ideas about what is required of them in the world, and you're just like, you don't, you know, like.
And it's sad when it's a dude who's in like his mid-20s. Like, I understand if you're like 13 or 14 and you think these things, you don't know, you know, you're still learning, but you're that old.
I know guys in their 20s, but then again, I know bronies.
Yeah, exactly.
They're mostly autistic. Yeah, man. That kind of stuff fascinates me because I really do think that we're all on the spectrum, you know. That's my new like catchphrase. Is like, yeah, man, I'm on the spectrum, dude.
Spectrum, dude.
Yeah,
we're all right in the spectrum.
Oh, like anytime someone like, if someone ever asks me like, hey man, are you into like are you into MLP? I'll be like, yeah, dude, I'm on the spectrum, you know, like.
Yeah, dog.
I
spurg out sometimes.
Yeah, dude, I got a little spurg.
Except spurg.
I can spurg with the best of them. Because I do think I think most of us have some of it.
Yeah. That's why I specified the levels that these people were at, because they were very clearly like different degrees.
I know people diagnosed with like autism or
and these
Asperger's
were all people diagnosed
on
with autism.
Like our cousin Evan is extremely autistic.
Well, he was like the mid-ground people. Where like
he's not very self-aware though.
No, but I can tell like the guy who was really autistic was like on a totally different level. Like he was barely lucid, you know, like he's ridiculous. And he was also one of those people with like the insane memory and stuff, and like
Evan has that. I get what you're saying.
You have to see it so I can explain it properly. I don't know how to properly explain.
I mean, I certainly wouldn't put Evan on the tier with the scientist people.
No, but those guys were really weird. They were like Evan.
Right,
like,
but Evan couldn't be a scientist. He's not smart.
He's not good at applying himself. Just because he's not smart doesn't mean he wasn't similar. Behavior-wise, he was similar to those guys.
Okay, like
even though they were really smart.
Because Evan's like, you know. So these people weren't like Sheldon, like
No,
Big
no,
Bang Theory,
they were not.
like thing. No, they were like
Yeah, the girl was a
actual-
little more like she just talked really slow, and she had to really think about everything she was saying. But she was fairly normal. She worked in a normal workplace with people. And then the guy was kind of like out there,
Right.
like. He had like all these horrible like twitches, and he'd always had he had a similar face to our cousin Evan, where it's just kind of like this sort of neutral, vacant
I just feel
face.
like science is about communicating things, you know.
But he was like a meteorologist. I don't know, dude. It didn't show him at work or anything, but this is the impression I got from these people.
Yeah, like
I don't know to what extent he was a scientist.
Our cousin Evan is like, I can't have a conversation with him level of autism. Like, you know, difficult to form a thought in a way you can relate to, and very frequently saying things that are so socially inappropriate that you can't believe he could possibly think that it's okay to say.
I always feel like he was trying to be as obnoxious as possible to get some sort of response.
Wouldn't it be funny if we just like raped some girl?
Fucking
If
God.
we just picked up some girl off the street and just raped her, wouldn't that be funny? And then just insisted on it for like 10 minutes.
Evan's pretty bad.
And we're all like, Evan's, no, it wouldn't be funny. It's not. Stop. Like, why are you talking about this? No, come on. It'd be funny. Oh my God, Evan. Please. Please, I can't deal with this. I can't. I understand that you are autistic, but I don't want to deal with this. Please stop.
Too much. The Doug Funny fan fictions are just
the Doug fanfics. He would read us Doug
these
like erotic Doug fanfics, and he would insist
edgy,
on reading
erotic
them
Doug fanfiction
constantly.
Yes,
like
and laugh his ass
every
off.
day. He'd come in and be like, "Let me read you this Doug fanfiction." He'd be like, "No." He'd be like, "Come on!"
And then he would
and
fail
just
to
keep
play like
laughing.
Mario songs on his keyboard or whatever.
Yes.
He was not good at the
and
keyboard.
then
but
like
he
read you
insisted.
the story anyways, but laugh after like every fifth word, so you couldn't even understand the story. You just kind of vaguely got that it was a weird, dumb, erotic Doug fanfic, you know. But yeah, like I know people all over the spectrum. You know, in the Brony community, I talk to a lot of autistic people on like every level, and you know, some who are like very high functioning, some not so much, and like. Yeah, like I'm sure I've got a little touch.
Oh, what
a
the
little
fuck?
touch of the spurg, you know, but
It's like a laser
not
beam
enough
shot
for
out.
it to affect my personality or way of life or anything.
You're a
really,
spurg
in like a
lord.
major way.
You're Alpha Spurg.
Yeah, but
It also made me feel bad about making a lot of Asperger's jokes because I'm like, you know, like the first guy who is really down on himself. It's like this is the guy who can't discern that you're joking, and so. He takes all of that very harshly, and that's what makes him feel so down, you know.
Right, but at the same time, like
it's like that's really sad.
the thing about like
Because
thing about
he
language
can't
like
tell.
that is that there's like on the same coin, like a hardcore fundamentalist Christian. If you say God's not real, they take it as a personal offense, and like for them. It really is like a deeply offensive thing that can wound them, you know, to like it could be, you could traumatize someone with different beliefs from you by confronting them about their beliefs, you know, and just because we have the mindset that like, well, you can change your religion, you know, you choose to be religious, but you don't really, you know, you grow up that way, you're raised that way, you're trained, you have that brain, you know, So for me, I feel like whenever we talk about, like, trying not to offend people, it's like, where is the line that we draw in the sand?
Yeah.
Like, you know, a lot of people say it's not okay to say faggot, right? Because you can't help being gay. And so, like, you know, and it's never used as a compliment. No one calls you a faggot as a good thing, you know?
Why?
So,
you look like quite the faggot.
Right. But then... While yes, there might be some people who hear the word faggot and get quote-unquote triggered, there will also be countless... Yeah. Well, because the thing is, like, triggering could be... It's just it could be anything.
Yeah.
You know, like, anyone can get triggered by whatever is their thing they don't like, you know? Like, the sensation of what people describe as triggered, they usually use that word because it's like a situation where something someone said or something that was represented, you know, offended them or made them think about something they didn't want to think about.
Yeah.
But like that actual emotion is common. It's not like a thing that only comes up in art and stuff like that. You know, like it's a common occurrence that you're gonna hear shit that you don't like.
Yeah.
I watched the.
You gotta deal with it.
Right. I watch the news and they talk about a war going on, and that makes me feel bad about my life and what's going on in the world. That's the same thing as being triggered.
Yes.
You know, but like it's just a thing
face
you
that shit,
deal with, right? So, on the one hand, some people, when you say faggot, it will trigger them, and they'll be like offended. But on the other hand, if you say it, there are gay people out there who will be happy that you said it. Like YMS would be pissed off if you didn't say faggot in front of him.
Yes.
You know, because he says it constantly, and he's always saying that he's like he's more offended by people not saying it than he is by people saying it.
Oh.
Especially people who try to who aren't gay, who try to protect gay people from the word. He's like super offended by that.
White knights of gay people.
And like the same thing goes for nigga. Yes, there are some black people who are going to say, you can't say that word, and they'll get offended.
Yeah.
There are other black people who I know who will treat me as a better person because I said it. There are some people out there who will go, yo man, the fact that you said, I like how, because he's black, I started with yo man.
A-dog.
Yeah, A-dog, like, I really appreciate that you feel, you know, that you don't try to censor yourself, because it means, you know, because to that person, it, like, saying it is segregation. Saying, like, some people can say it and some people can't, you know? Personally, I get offended when people think they can't say nigga, you know? So, like, there's always going to be a trade-off. There's going to be some people who are going to respect you more and some people who are going to respect you less. And you just have to... Like, you know, there's certain things that because they're in the public eye... Congratulations, by the way. You have to look at the guy who's going to burn. Look at him burning. That thing. He was controlling him, and then he just catches
I didn't know there
fire
was a guy
and dies.
controlling it.
Yeah.
What? Wow.
Yeah, because those are moonlight butterflies.
What?
Yeah, and they like control suits of
Whoa!
armor or something. I believe that's what I got out of what I've read.
That's badass.
But I'm pretty
yeah,
sure
they kind of do look like moonlight butterflies.
I'm pretty sure they're moonlight butterflies, and that was what you were just fighting was Ornstein's armor that was possessed by a moonlight butterfly. I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah,
what if you're triggered by the thought of death?
Yeah, which
How are you gonna? Yeah, exactly.
But that's the thing, like there's certain stuff that people like know can saying faggot offends a very specific group of people, but it's like there's more amorphous groups. Like if like you said, people who are afraid of death. Like, if you get triggered by the thought of death, that's not something that you can wear on your sleeve that's easily recognizable. Yeah. But it is a group of people. You know, there are people who are triggered by that, and if you talk about death, those people will now feel awful in the same way that other people would, you know? And, again, even though, like, when you say faggot, it sounds like, well, it's offensive to gay people. But it's not offensive to gay people. It's offensive to some gay people. It's offensive to some straight people. But the fact of the matter is that you can never be not offensive to anyone, you know? And in the process of offending some people, others will celebrate you, you know? We all get offended every time Donald Trump says anything, but his supporters love that shit. And they respect him more because of that shit, you know? And like, it's in the liberal media, we tend to portray those people as like not progressive and they don't know what they're talking about and they're evil. But then to those people, everything that comes out of Bernie Sanders' mouth is probably a huge fucking offense to them. You know, and it's shit that they don't believe in and they don't want to hear.
Fucking socialist, man. Hitler was a socialist, dude.
So I think it's completely impossible to not offend anyone. Yes. And you should just stop worrying about it, you know? This is how I defend, by the way. I thought of all this. I was thinking about this today. I spend a lot of time thinking about my defenses for arguments I never actually get into. And this was my why do I use the word nigga in my rap songs argument. Because it's like, I've noticed that like most white rappers won't say it. Yeah. You know, Eminem never says it. LP never says it. And I'm like, surely these guys say it in their everyday life. Yes. You know, like, you really think Eminem never says nigga in a day-to-day situation? Like, I don't know. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's special.
You have a strong opinion on it.
But like, there's no fucking way with a lot of people, and you know, like, it's funny to me, like on Game Grumps, for instance, like that's the one word they'll like bleep or not say. You know, they like try to avoid it, even though Egoraptor's career is built on a Final Fantasy VII cartoon where he plays Barrett going, yo, nigga, what up?
True.
Like, I'm a blat that majigga dog, you know, like, everyone's seen that. We all know you said it. You can't hide that, you know, like, oh, sure, you're not, well, I guess if you say it all the time, it might become egregious, but, like, come on, dude, you fucking built your career on this video, and were people offended, or are you famous, you know, like, which one is it? Now, it's different if it's a context where it's obviously racist, you know?
Yeah. If
I was writing a rap song that was like, and them niggers should stand off my lawn, you know, then it'd be like, yeah, okay, that's, you know, maybe that's racist, but, you know, even then, there's gonna be a crowd that appreciates that, you know? It just depends on who you decide you want to offend. Who are you okay with offending? That's what you really have to ask yourself. Hey. Who am I okay with offending? You know?
Look at my fucking hammer, dude. It's a big ol' hammer.